Hey everybody, welcome back to another Gunpla review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the... this is going to be a problem. Alright, so today we're going to be taking a look at the Mega Size 1/48th scale Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode. And first things first, I want to say this thing is massive. I had to scrap the backdrop entirely because of how big this thing is. So for this video, we're not going to have that cool white background that we normally have. There was just no way for me to pull that off considering how big this thing is. So right here is the Mega Size Unicorn Gundam in all of its glory, and I do apologize for all the distracting stuff going on in the background. I really could not pull off that solid white background considering how absolutely huge this guy is. But I don't know, part of me kind of likes this backdrop a little bit more. I don't know, why don't you guys tell me down in the comments what you guys feel about this background versus the white background. If you don't like it though, I'm really sorry. You're gonna have to bear with me though for just this one video, I promise. So I tried to use my turntable to get a nice 360-degree view of this kit, but this thing is actually so heavy that the motors in the turntable were starting to struggle to turn it. But as you can see, this thing looks completely phenomenal. The proportions, the sharp details, and the sculpt, everything, it looks so cool. I for one am personally a sucker for huge display pieces, and this thing is bar none the biggest thing in my entire collection. But we'll get to size comparisons in just a minute. As far as aesthetics go, when I completed this thing, I was just floored at how totally cool this thing looked. I know some people don't like the design of the Destroy Mode Unicorn, but I am a fan of it. And this thing passes the looks test with more than flying colors. Now, as I said earlier, this is a Mega Size kit, and if you don't know what Mega Size is, it is a line of Gunpla that is in 1/48th scale. You can kind of think of them as sized up high grades with some upgrades here and there. I would say the biggest upgrade is the sharpness of the molding, and there is an absolute ton of surface detail added to these things. Seriously, if you're not panel lining your Mega Size kits, you're losing out on a ton of surface detail. And that being said, I guess I'm kind of calling myself out because I have not panel lined this guy yet. I will one day, just not today. So this thing is basically the high-grade Destroy Mode Unicorn on steroids, except it's not a hand grenade and it doesn't feel flimsy in your hands. In fact, it feels extremely solid, except for some of the joints, but we will get to that later. I can say with confidence though, you don't have to worry about this guy really falling apart on you much. Alright, so aesthetics aside, let's get into the size comparison of this thing. Now I like to display this guy right above my computer desk. That's him in between a master grade Sazabi Verka and the perfect grade Red Frame Astray. And as you can see already, this thing is huge. So here is the Mega Size Unicorn next to the Reborn 100 Zaku 2 FZ, High Grade Zaku 2, Astolfo, Giorno Giovanna, the perfect grade Red Frame Astray, and the 1:1 scale replica of Sheer Heart Attack. So as you can see, this thing's pretty damn big. I will be honest with you though, I think the novelty of the size of this kit really does carry the whole thing. I will elaborate on that a little bit more later, but for now let's take a look at the box. So here's the front of the box. You can see the unicorn from multiple different angles. We can see that it is in fact 1/48th scale and it stands 452 millimeters tall. Also, if you want to know how much this guy costs, I picked him up from a local hobby shop for $109.95 plus tax. Moving on down to the detail on the sides, we have a little size comparison between the Mega Size and a high grade. We have this complete lie which says no tools required. It literally encourages you to rip the parts off the runners with your grubby little hands. I tried doing this, it stressed the hell out of the parts, so I went ahead, broke the rules, and used the proper tools for making model kits. Snap fit, yet no glue required. Assembly instructions are in color and really easy to read, and all of the parts on the runners are labeled with pictures of the part of the body that you're going to be building. I really can't figure out who they're gearing this towards because to me the instructions say
baby's first model kit,
but the price tag says
adults only.
I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it a bit too much, but it's just weird to me. This thing mentions a building technique they use called a sprue lock method. Basically, you just kind of smack the two runners together, assemble the parts on there, and cut them out afterwards. Kinda cool, but I tried building it like this and I didn't really enjoy it personally. Multicolored plastic, and this thing actually comes with water slide decals. Wow, something really cool we'll get into in detail in a minute is the back of the manual, which contains a little bit of a builder's guide full of tips and tricks for newcomers. Other side of the box, we get a rear and front view of the Mega Size Unicorn, but you already know what that looks like. We get a couple pictures of the unicorn in action shots. We get a bunch of text talking about the accessories, talking about the joints and whatnot. And then we get to this part, which I still to this day don't understand. Used shading mold. What does this mean? Seriously, I've built this thing and I can't find any shading on it anywhere. It says the mold is deeply sculpted to emphasize Size Shadow. What does that mean? Are they trying to say that they gave it panel lines? Like deep panel lines? I don't understand. Anyways, that's all the information that we have on the box. So let's talk about accessories, and this thing has a few. Here's the Mega Size Unicorn with everything that he comes with. We get an extra fist, an extra trigger finger, 2 beam saber effects, 4 beam saber handles, foil stickers, water slides, big shield, and a big gun. Foil stickers are nice. There's no color correcting ones, just ones for the eyes and the cameras. The rectangular one is a silver foil sticker that goes on the inside of the head for some kind of light reflection, light piping, I'm not really sure. Lots of water slides, pretty similar to what you'd see on a Verka Master Grade. We get these 2 styles of hands, one's a fist that can't hold anything, and one's a trigger finger that holds everything else. Would have been nice to get a separate hand for holding the beam sabers so they don't look ugly in the hands. Beam saber handle. And the 4 others. Beam sabers have storage on the body as follows. Arm panel flips down, beam saber goes in, and it flips back up for storage. The beam sabers can also be plugged into the little arms at the top of the backpack. We get 2 massive beam saber effect parts. They're so big you could probably use them as chopsticks. However, I don't know if the plastic is food safe or machine washable for that reason, so just keep them on the kit. Plug the effect part into the handle. If you want, you can flip this back out, plug the beam saber effect part back in, and then you have a
Beam Tonfa.
To put the beam sabers in the hands, you have to take off the front part, slap it onto that peg in there, and then close the hand back up. Now I know what you're thinking, does that not look really awkward for him to be holding the beam saber in his trigger finger hand? And my answer to you would be yes. Yeah, it really does. Why could we not have gotten beam saber holding hands? Oh well, at least we still have the
Beam Tonfa
to hold our effect parts for us. So let's take a look at the shield, and this thing is huge, just like everything else on this kit. The surface detail is kinda but those clear pink parts look really cool contrasted against that white. Something I don't like about the shield is that the inside of it looks really cheap, and on a large scale that's just really unfortunate to see. We do get some nice gray detailing, don't get me wrong, but the inner parts of that white plastic just looks hollow. The one moving part that the shield has is this connector bit, which has a swivel right here, and in order to attach it to the arm, you can choose either arm, front, or back, and it just plugs into that little hole like so. Now we take a look at the Unicorn's beam Magnum, and this thing is huge, like everything else. The detail is pretty awesome. We get a nice clear green part in there for the camera. This little handle swings out, and we get a little tab that flips out on the back here. If you so choose, there is a tab on the side of the beam Magnum that allows you to tab the gun into the back of either of his arms. We can also use the little flippy tab to attach it to his backpack. However, it looks coolest in his hand, so just put it in his hand. If you want a size comparison for the beam Magnum, well, there you go. Seriously, the weapon alone is bigger than the high grade itself. Alright, now piss off. So there's the Mega Size Unicorn with all of his stuff equipped. Actually, never mind. I forgot. We still need to equip the
Beam Tonfa.
If you want to flip it back out, you actually have to remove the shield entirely. So take that off, flip that out, attach, and done. So there you go. There's the Mega Size Unicorn with everything equipped, or at least this is how I prefer to display him. So let's talk about one last thing before we move on, and that is the manual that comes with this. So it shows right here that this kit comes with part separators, and I actually threw mine away because they just completely suck. Seriously, trust me. Use a pair of nippers instead. Save yourself the stress and the stress marks. We get a little diagram that shows us what we're going to be building in what order. Here's a page detailing the sprue lock method of assembly, and the rest of the instructions are in bright, vivid colors, you know, in case you're still in kindergarten and need bright colors in order for something to keep your attention.
Warning, opinion incoming.
I don't really think the color was that necessary. I think that normal instructions are easy enough to follow as it is. In my opinion, if you're smart enough to piece the parts together based on letters and numbers, you probably don't need colors to help you anymore. Whatever, I'm sure this helps out somebody out there, so it's probably not completely useless. However, the manual does include something that's actually helpful, which is a beginner's guide to certain aspects of Gunpla. We can see detailed instructions on how to cut parts and avoid stress marks, how to panel line, how to apply water slide decals. This is really valuable information that I wish they would include in more manuals, because I know when I was first starting out, this would have helped me a whole lot. So I do really like that they put this in here. It's super cool, and it's a very great resource for new builders. Also, we get a diagram for all the decals on the back. And that's about all that's worth talking about in the manual. So now for the moment you've all probably been waiting for. How's the poseability on this guy? What kinds of crazy poses can it pull off to look super dynamic on the shelf? Well, you're basically looking at it right now. Yep, if you're gonna get this kit, you may as well just expect to put it in a straight up standing position. Now, personally, that doesn't bother me, but only on this kit specifically. The reason for that is, to me, this kit is basically just a huge centerpiece. Like I said earlier, this kit has quite a few shortcomings, but the sheer size of this thing is basically what carries the kit for me. I don't really care if I have to have this guy in just a static pose. Thanks to its massive size, it kind of demands to be put in the center of a display, so I really just like kind of having it stand there stoically. When it's just standing there, it provides a nice vertical symmetry, minus the weapons and shield, and the only other reason is, well, if you take this guy kind of off center balance, let's be real here, he's gonna fall over. The box says that this kit contains these click style joints which are supposed to be able to support the extra weight of the huge limbs, buttons. Yeah, you can really see how great those work. On top of the fact that this guy's supporting joints are probably going to give out before you even finish putting him in his pose, the bottoms of the feet are completely plastic and they're not going to catch on any surface at all. These things slip and slide around like you put them on a surface coated with butter. Seriously, I mean, this kit would greatly benefit from those sticker style grippy pads like we see on the base of the feet of the perfect grade red frame Astray. I almost would have rather this kit just have been in a fixed standing pose. There's almost no point to having articulation when it can't support its own weight. And speaking of articulation, ball joint at the head, 360 spin, 360 at the shoulder, arm all the way up. Little to no movement here, bicep swivel and a bend at the elbow, wrist on the ball joint, no ab crunch to speak of, 360 at the waist, ball joint front skirt all the way up, hinge joint side skirt all the way up and swivel, nothing on the butt, minimal thigh rotation, almost perfect splits, leg all the way up, there's those click joints at work, leg all the way back, bend at the knee, ankle skirting flips up, barely any side to side, barely any frontward motion, can move pretty far back though. Alright, so that is gonna just about do it for our review of the Mega Size Unicorn Gundam. Overall, I would say it's an okay kit. It definitely has its flaws. It's definitely nowhere near perfect, but the fact that it's just so damn huge is really what secures it a special place in my heart. Like I said, I'm a sucker for huge display pieces, so if you're like me and you don't mind that the main benefit to this kit is just the fact that it's so huge, if you just want a giant static display piece, then I definitely recommend this kit to you. I definitely also think with how the instructions are laid out and how simple the assembly is, this could be a really nice gift to give to a younger model builder. I want to say that the finished product almost borders on a toy-like quality, but of course at the end of the day it is still a model kit. So in summary, I would recommend this kit for people looking for just a big display piece. To everyone else, you may want to consider taking a pass. However, I personally love this thing just by the sheer size alone. It is my favorite display piece in my entire collection, but I know not everyone else will feel the same way. So that's going to do it for the review. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving a like on the video, and if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to turn subscription notifications on by ringing that bell if you haven't already, so you'll be notified of every time I put out a new video. If you'd like updates related to new videos I'm making, or just want to know what I'm up to when I'm not making videos, go give me a follow over on Twitter at UC Gundam. We also have an official Discord server, so if you'd like to join that, the link will be down in the description. Also, if you'd like to watch any of my other review videos, unboxings, or speed builds, links to all of my playlists will also be down in the description. Anyways guys, that's going to be all from me for today. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later, and until next time, this has been UC Gundam, signing out.